Hello, my name is Bill, and this is another episode of Billboard Comics, a very special edition. I am detailing my trip to the Undiscovered Realm Con in White Plains, New York. Come on with me and let's see how it turned out to be, shall we? Hi everybody, this is Bill from Billboard Comics. I'm here in front of a big building waiting to get into the Undiscovered Realms Con. It is about 20 minutes after 10. Doors open at 10 and the line goes as long as this. So this is not a good sign. It's not a good sign. I'm really happy about this. But we'll see how it goes when we get inside. All right, about 15 minutes later in a hot blistering sun, we are in. Apparently they had some kind of ticketing issue. So we're inside here. I'm gonna go quick run around and show you what's up.
Let's go down this one.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, right. Word.
Two of those get one free. 3 for 120 on the deal in the middle. I just noticed four little guys on your thing. That one I'm like, show you that. Yeah. So the coffee's not the
Look at the pixel art small marker. That's actually fun. Oh, there's your. Because if I'm live and I don't double check it. I
just walked in.
She's gonna be alive for someone else.
You know?
Unfortunately, it's like I don't know whatever. He did fix extra. It's also in church.
I was just imagining this one first. even though he has his own certificate of authenticity.
Yeah.
I know. I was like,
I don't do it so much anymore. I switched over to the family stuff, and now I get my performance done through cosplay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm here with Very Gary Comics, one of my favorite YouTubers. Very educational, very entertaining, and if you want to know about comic books, this guy knows a lot about them. Check out his channel. Hi everybody, I am here with Modern Geek Gaming, a man I actually know outside in real world, goes by a different name, I don't want to tell you that, but he's got prints here, and someday my prints will come, and they came here. Look, high quality artwork.
Thank you.
Stop. If you see him, stop by. You want to say anything?
You can follow me on Twitch under Bat Mario. You can also catch us at moderngeekcomics.com. We're going to be here at Undiscovered Realm Con both Saturday and Sunday. So please stop by. We're A3 the booth. We have stickers, we have prints, we have original art. I'm doing commissions as well. You can contact me through that. And we'll hopefully have some new projects coming up in the future as well. Take care, guys.
All right, I'm sure a lot of you could pretty much garner from the video my feelings about certain parts of the con. Let me just say this one thing, and I don't want to be that guy talking about that con, but I'm in my 50s. I don't really like standing, period, anywhere at all, ever. I especially don't like to stand outside on the concrete, and especially don't like to actually stand outside in concrete in the hottest day of the year. And that's what Undiscovered Realm Con made me do. And granted, I got there at 20 minutes past when the doors were open. And there's still a line around the side of the building. Why? Somebody came out and said something about there's a problem with the ticketing thing, I guess they were using. Whatever, the guy in front of me said this happened the same thing last year. They said they had the same thing done last year. And that's why everybody was so behind. I mean, like, I was out there for about 20 minutes, just taking the time to get up, go around, go up there, go up the stairs, stand up there, and stuff like that, which paid havoc on my knees and my ankles, stuff like this. Like, I know a lot of people are like, boo-hoo, old guy, then don't come to cons, leave it to us young people, go in the field and die. And I plan on doing that eventually, but not because you told me to do it. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, come on, get your stuff together. There's no reason why anybody should be out there in this day and age. I think most of the problem was less, the problems with this ticketing, which there might have been, is that when you got in, There are two doors for general admission. Both doors wrapped around either side of the convention center. You go in and you go through like a little like ribbon kind of maze, and then you go to a woman holding a iPad. She scans your QR code on your ticket that you got emailed to you and lets you in. Only one, at least on my side. There's probably one on the other side for thousands of people, give or take, at least hundreds of people. I don't know how many people actually attended, but it was quite a few people. Why? Add another volunteer on. Get another like pad up there. Get somebody to do that. Have the lines move faster. If you had a ticketing thing and people are behind, rally it. Have people out front telling you what was going on. I heard one person say, "This is general admission. VIP's over there." So I went on general admission. Then I heard somebody from the other line that I thought was the VIP saying, "Oh, we're general admission. This is general admission. We have to stand here." I'm like, I don't want to stand in line for 20 minutes in the heat and have to go all the way back out and come back in on the other line that's even longer. There's a guy walking around with a bullhorn, wasn't using it, didn't say anything. Why? I have no idea. Maybe he just liked to hold the bullhorn. Maybe it was his own personal bullhorn, and he brought it with him. He calls it George, and he hugs it, and he squeezes it, and he loves it, and he's going to paint it blue. I don't know. But he could use that thing to actually tell the people who are waiting in line, "Hey, this is what happened. We apologize. You'll be right in as soon as you go up there. This is the correct line. This is the line for this. Is anybody here for VIP?" Not doing anything. He's there hanging out with his friends, walking around, joking around. Quality service. Once I got in, as you see from the tour, and again, I apologize for the tour. For those who have maybe motion sickness, I had it mounted onto my chest, and it might have been a little bit bouncy. I tried to steady it as much as I possibly could, but I do apologize for some of you people who might be a little thing. My wife is like that, and she said like when I go around turns, it was really bad. So I apologize ahead of time. Next time I will try to do that better. But however, I was able to do the whole actual main con floor in under 6 minutes. I think it was 5 minutes and 47 seconds, as a matter of fact. Not a lot of vendors, not a lot of space. I don't know if you saw it in the thing on top of they had like a little like razor, like a proscenium. They had the Star Wars voice cast up there. They also had a downstairs area that had the celebrity people and some more like another room that had artists and writers and stuff like this. So I didn't go into because I didn't really have any much interest in there. But for the main sales floor, you could peruse the whole thing all by yourself, even with the amount of crowds that we actually had, for about under 6 minutes. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad con. It could be a good con. It means it's a smaller con. Smaller cons usually are pretty good. For me personally, I like going to Comic Cons for comic books. I'm a comic book geek. If you haven't known already by watching this stuff, like I said, I usually go to these for comic books, and this convention wasn't really set up for comic books. There are only like maybe 5 or 6 vendors there, not counting like people who were selling toys or prints or something like that, or sculptures that had a box of comic books on the side. I wasn't really counting those. There's only like mainly 4 or 5 really vendors, and out of them, like there's only a couple that are actually really selling what I wanted to. I only saw one vendor who had dollar bin books, and there's only 3 boxes. So if you're going here to get like cheap books, a dollar bin bind or anything like that, you are out of luck. The cheapest amount of bargain books I could find was $5. One guy's had a thing for a $5, but if you buy 5 of them, it's 20 or whatever kind of deal going on. I'd say the average price per book on the floor was about $10 to $25, and so that's probably by design because they want to have the more discerning collector come in here. Yeah, that's well and good, but it kind of limits the amount of vendors that you have there that sell comic books. That might also be a case of like they're okay with that because there is people selling fudge, people selling jewelry, people selling prints, autographed placards from sports figures. That was a big thing. Funko Pops, as far as the eyes could see. You could several different people selling those, and people making handmade little doodads. There was a cosplay area where cosplayers, who I don't really know who's famous or not, but she's up there talking to fans and having fun, and that's good. This is like a kind of thing, like this is more of like a all around kind of Comic-Con. If your family has geeks in it that have all kind of geekiness in it, you will probably find something to do in this con, and that's a good thing. That's a great thing. That's not a bad thing. But just for me personally, or if you are a comic book collector exclusively, it might be a little disappointing. Did I spend all the money that I was budgeted by my wife? Nope. But I came close, and that counts for something. One of the things I want to mention about this that I found was kind of unique at this con, there's an older couple who are going around, vendor to vendor, went to Very Gary, and they went to the Next Generation Comics, and they had a manila envelope full of comic books. I didn't see what's in it, what comic books were in it. But she went to Gary, and like Gary gave her his card, and then went to the Next Generation Comics. The guy says, I can't look at this right now, I'm booth, but I am interested in this, but if you've been willing to wait till after the con, we could go to a restaurant, we could get some to eat, and I look through it, and I might have to count the pages to make sure this, because you have thousands of dollars of comic books like here. And I was like fascinated by that. I didn't like follow them around like a stock or anything like that. I kind of like lost track of them in the con after that. But that was fascinating. There's a story behind that. Like, why are they selling this? Like is it something like, you know, like, hey, I just want to get rid of these. I'll just spend the $30 to go into a Comic-Con and get some money off of them, or we are destitute and we are spending our last $30 to go to this Comic-Con to try to sell these books so we can make rent for next week. It could be anything there. It just, your mind wanders and like stuff like that. You get like kind of stuff like that. I just thought that was interesting. I never really saw that before. I saw like maybe once before. This guy had a whole bunch of like a bin, like a Rubbermaid bin full of comic books. They're all in Ziploc bags. They're just Charlton comic books. I'm like, well, do you think this will sell? I'm like, probably not. And this was like 20 years ago. They might sell now because people are collecting Charlton, but probably not in that condition. But I digress. You don't really see that kind of like wheeling and dealing on the con floor. It's usually they're the buyer, they're sellers, you're the buyer, and never the twain shall meet. So as I said, there's a limited amount of comic books, but I did manage to buy some comic books, and I'm going to show them to you now. The first one up is Wolverine 155. I got this from Next Generation Comics. I believe he said that his store is on Staten Island, New York, which is not that far away from White Plains, so hence the reason why he was there. This is the last book I need for my Wolverine set. Wait, hold on. Unless you count annuals. I think I need 2 of the annuals. Certain databases count them, certain don't, but if you're the kind of person who only counts the regular issues and not the actual, not the annuals or anything like that, then I have a complete set. Next up, I decided to go to Very Gary Comics. He was very nice enough to do the video for me. I figured at least I could do is buy some books off him. And I've been remiss on my haul videos because I just haven't had time or space or anything like that. I actually kicked my daughter out of the room just so I could have this area to actually like do this, and she was not happy about it. 16-year-olds are kind of crappy. I decided to I got a whole bunch of Daredevils. I want to kick up like getting like Bronze and Silver Age Daredevils and Action Comics and Fantastic Four and yada yada yada, all the stuff that I need to like fill in holes and stuff like that. But I just recently got like a copy of Daredevil 171 and 172, which gave me like a complete run from like 131 all the way to 336. So luckily Gary had a whole bunch of Daredevils that helped me increase that run. I got 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, and 130. And I already have 131. So now I have a complete run of Daredevil comics from 118 to 336. That's well over 200 comic books. That's well over, is it 10, 15 years? Maybe more? I'm not exactly sure. It's probably 70s to the 90s, give or take. Yeah, probably around 20 years of comic books there. And I like that. I like having big, long hunks of comic books that I could just like say, yeah, I did this. It's a sense of accomplishment. Many people have sense of accomplishments of, climbing mountains or fording streams or, spending a night in the wilderness and fighting off a bear. My accomplishment is getting a big number of comic books in sequential numerical order in the middle of a comic book set. To each their own. Mine's much safer, unless like the boxes fall on top of my head. So you saw the video, you heard my comments about it. Did you go to Undiscovered Realm Comic Con? It was my first time. Will I go back? I don't know. Maybe. Depends on the dates. It was between this, my wife, and the Garden State Comic Fest. So I chose this because we're so close and like it was a cheaper entry and all kinds of stuff like this. Maybe I'll try that next year. I heard a lot of good things about that one. But would you go to this one? Is there something that you like? Did you see the video and say, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. That's a really good vendor." And like, wow, this is pretty neat. This is pretty cool to have in White Plains, New York. I almost forgot the prints I got. Holy cow! I'm sorry about that. I got some prints off of Modern Geek Gaming, who has a tag there. You saw the little video. I know him as a guy who goes to my local comic shop. I never realized he was an artist, at least not an artist at the level of getting a booth at a comic book convention. So it was really nice to see him and really kind of like, whoa, what are you doing here? And he said the same thing to me, and we had a little fun with it. Got the 2 prints from him. I really dig that as we're sitting there, the like the Walt Disney Steamboat Willie, kind of by way of FNAF. He says to me it's FNAF, and I really appreciate that he thinks I'm cool enough to actually realize that without having to think about it hard. Five Nights at Freddy's, of course, for you who are uninitiated. But yeah, so yeah, but that was fun. I got to off that and got to see his work, and his wife was lovely. I don't know if the video is going to survive her with their disembodied hand in it. But yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so once again, I am going to end this again. So thank you very much. Give a like, subscribe, share, and comment. And until next time, keep on collecting.